Hello everyone, welcome to another classic toy review here at ScorcherToys@AnyMoon.com. Today we're looking at Yamato's 1/15 scale Army Color Garland toy. This toy was released in April 2007 for 16,800 yen and was the third Yamato Garland released of 4 normal versions and a 5th Proto Garland. This toy comes in a pretty nice looking box. It's got some dynamic art to it, has a flip top lid. Inside you'll find a Shinji figure instead of a Shogo figure. He's also got a helmet that makes him just a normal army goon from the Megazone series. There are 2 Yui figures, one seating, one standing. There's also a standing adapter for her since the standing figure doesn't really stand on its own too well. Of course you get the Garland itself and a gun. Behind that plastic tray and the cardboard it comes within, you'll find the instruction manual as well as a separate flyer for how to use the Yui figures that are included and some information on Megazone 2-3. While this toy is long out of print, I have added a Big Bad Toy Store link to this review. There are a lot of Megazone 2-3 toys in the pipeline, so definitely travel over to BBTS and check them out. If you go through the link, you'll also be helping out the channel. To spice up the Army release, Yamato gave us a standing Yui figure. She's got arms that pivot and a head that pivots and a ponytail that pivots. So those are her points of articulation, obviously not much. She needs a little stand adapter to stand or else she would fall backwards. And obviously she's not really meant to go with the Army Garland. She's meant to go with any red Garland or maybe even the factory Garland you might own. She's also pretty small, but she scales well with Shogo, so they're probably both less than 1/15 scale, but they look good together, and that's obviously what's really important here. The second figure included with the Army version Garland is a seated Yui figure. So she also, rotating head, rotating ponytail, and arms. The arms on her also extend so you can open them up more, and then that allows you to put her on the back of the bike, and of course at that point you could press her arms in a little bit more and get her to look like she's riding behind Shogo on the Garland. So again, obviously these are for use with other Garlands you own, not with the brown Garland necessarily, since it wouldn't really make sense to have Yui riding the Army Color version. All Garland figures come with the same gun, and this is it. Now it does have a nice clear plastic bead up at the top and some recessed dark painted accent pieces. There is an extension gimmick and a removable magazine off the back. Obviously not a whole lot going on with this. Not really sure why you would ever need to do that. And I don't really remember the gun and needing this extension gimmick. What would have been a far cooler gimmick is if this thing could collapse somehow and fit in between the arms in bike mode, which it can't do, which kind of raises the question, like, where does this gun go in bike mode? And that is a question not answered by Yamato. The Army Color version comes with Shinji. He is incredibly similar to the Shogo in functionality, but as you can see, he is 100% a new mold, and he's wearing the military outfit, but he still has the ability to bring his legs out, still has the knee that goes up and down, ankle, no twist points throughout here, elbow that works up and down, and his elbow seems to stay on a little bit better than the Shogo figures does. You have the hands that rotate and then pop onto the handlebars. You have a ball jointed head, and you have a pivot forward and back, so you can kind of get him into a little bit of a crunch position. He does have an optional helmet, so you can turn him into just a military goon, as it was from Megazone 2-3. There you go. Does he look villainous? Yeah, I would say so. So here's your Shogo figure again. Very similar in functionality, but a whole new look for our Army Garland. And here is the Army Garland. Take a look at it without the figure first. You have the rotating wheels in the front, you have the rotating wheel in the back, and again, these rotate so stiffly that they don't really allow you to just kind of play with the toy like so. There is a little gap in between those wheels, which lets it stay upright instead of falling over. But my complaint continues that these toys have too big of legs in bike mode, so it doesn't really look like a motorcycle from the side. And it doesn't let you get much of an angle, so it's kind of hard to imagine steering this motorcycle with that little leeway in either direction. I would have appreciated the legs to be a little higher and a little smaller so that we could kind of use it like a motorcycle. So here we can take the figure and we could put him on and have him hold. Now there is the issue with all of the magnets involved. You do tend to get this pop forward like so. And the magnets in the back do a much better job. They're a little less integral to everything. So there's a couple magnets there, but they really hold on pretty tight. So really it's just that front one as you're handling the toy, especially doing anything with the driver figure. It's pretty easy to disjar things. You can see there's a tooth up in the front that's coming out too. And this windscreen here kind of gets out of position when all that happens. So that part is not my favorite. It's fun that it's got all these magnets, but it doesn't work quite as well as pegs would have. Let's check out how the bot mode goes. Like the Shogo figure, you can leave the Shinji or nameless military goon figure in the vehicle for transformation. It's better, in my opinion, if you're doing something like this, where you want to make it look like it's a mid-transformation pose. It doesn't work out the best just for maneuver slave mode or bot mode, because the figure gets completely hidden by this shroud that comes down over it. We'll take a look at that in just a moment, but I thought this was pretty cool for you diorama buffs who are interested in more dynamic poses. You can go with this mid-transformation pose and show off the pilot figure pretty well. All right, let's continue on to full completed maneuver slave mode. I enjoy bot mode on this toy. If you've seen my review of the metallic red Garland, there's really nothing new here to say. After the first release Red Garland, Yamato had fixed the shoulders, so you no longer have to worry about the exploding shoulder here. You do have the ability to rotate all the way around, come away from the body, but here's kind of the problem. No stiffness at all in that shoulder. So they fixed it so it didn't break apart, but it's not really stiff enough. You can barely get it to hold up the gun. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But either way, that's you have the articulation you need, but you don't really have the strength you need to really enjoy it. Head is on a ball joint, goes up, down, left, right, and you can even crook it. So that's nice. Limit there is upward looking, but not a big deal. You do have twist points right below the shoulder, right above the elbow, and you have the ability to go about 90 degrees with the elbow. Hand rotates around with individually articulated fingers, just where they meet the palm, and the thumb is on a ball joint. Same thing on the other side, except you got a little curve to it. Now, there is some scuffing happening on the front of the chest where the magnets come together, so there's a little bit of a durability issue. And really on this particular version, that and parts popping off maybe from lack of glue are your only real big durability issues to be concerned with. After the fairly disastrous first Red Garland, Yamato seemed to get their act together pretty well. Moving down, we can move our hips out and in, way back, way forward, and we have a twist point right below the hip, and a knee that allows you to get 90 degrees, and you can even come forward a little bit with it. And then we have our ankles that can rock back and forward and back. So you got some good range of motion on the ankles. Now, this toy can hold the gun. The gun doesn't stay in the hand particularly well. It's kind of a loose fit. This one has just enough resistance maybe to hold the gun out. Not quite. So what you end up doing, like with the other Garland toys, is using the elbow as a crook. And then you put the hand in like that. And that's how you get it to look like it can hold the gun without everything falling apart. And again, it'd be good if there was like a peg in the hand or something like that, so it can get a tighter grip on this gun. But you can make it work. I'm just having a little problem. So that's what you have to do to kind of cheat with the hand, since the shoulders aren't really strong enough. One last thing, I do have the pilot figure in there. And again, you can see, not very visible from any angle unless you've got that shroud up. And even then, it's barely visible that he's in there. So given the added complexity of the transformation of leaving the pilot figure in there and the lack of options to show him off, I just would leave him aside for transformation. There are a few other companies now looking at making Garland toys. There's an Arcadia toy, a Future toy, and a Freeing toy coming out. Kind of hard to imagine if any of them are going to do military repaints. So this might be a unique bird for quite a long time. It's really cool that it comes with these extra UE figures. If you've got a red Garland toy, particularly the metallic red Garland toy, I wouldn't go anywhere near the regular release red Garland toy. The UE figures do help spruce up your displays. So it's a pretty cool supplement. Kind of hard to imagine it'd be the one Garland toy someone would seek out. But if you do have a red Garland toy from Yamato you're happy with and want to supplement that display a little bit, the Army color is a kind of cool pickup. Check out anymoon.com for my full article, and as always, thanks for watching.